Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about Resident Evil 2 Remake and how it's aged over the past 6 years. If you saw my Resident Evil 4 20 years later video, that was broken down into different sections, with them being like the gameplay and the story and the graphics and controls and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do that for this, so without further ado, let's jump into the first section I want to talk about, that being the gameplay. The gameplay in Resident Evil 2 Remake can be broken down into several different sections. This can be exploring the RPD, trying to survive/kill zombies. It can be trying to find the next safe code, the next key item, or just learning the overall layout of the RPD and the other locations throughout the game. Learning the locations is a huge part of playing a Resident Evil game, as it will make it 1,000 times easier if you can identify where you are from where you need to go by just looking at your surroundings. Although the game does have an in-game map, but after a decent enough time, you won't need to really rely on the map, and you can just kind of know, alright, I'm here, I need to get here, and you can take the most optimal route that is the safest and avoiding the most enemies. As in Resident Evil, killing the enemies is usually not the main focus of the game. One of the best and most exciting parts of playing Resident Evil 2 is when you find a weapon upgrade, as finding and equipping a weapon upgrade can grant your weapon a certain ability it did not have beforehand, like 3-round burst, better accuracy, a higher fire rate, a bigger ammo capacity, or it just might make the weapon stronger. All this weapon talk, but you can't really use all these guns if you ain't got enough ammo to shoot them, so this brings me to the next point. Ammo crafting! Ammo crafting in Resident Evil 2 is unique because the original did not have this, as ammo crafting was not implemented in the series until Resident Evil 3 in 1999. But ammo crafting does make the game significantly easier, especially on higher difficulties, because now you don't need to worry about just picking up ammo piles. You can find gunpowder and you can craft it, or you can hoard it until you need it the most and make the desired ammo type that you want, whether it be the strongest for a boss fight or just pistol ammo to get you through your next fight. Now, this whole time I would talk about weapon upgrades and ammo crafting, I haven't actually shown off the characters using their own weapons. Leon, who is the cop, has his own custom handgun, the Matilda, a police-issued pump-action shotgun, a 50 AE Desert Eagle that gets kitted out, and a freaking flamethrower. Like, these weapons were normal up until the flamethrower. What kind of cop is going to have access to this kind of firepower? It's ridiculous, but it's kind of fun at the same time, and I love it. It adds to this game's goofy charm. But that's Leon's loadout, but it becomes synonymous with him. Like, when I think Leon, I think his pistol and his shotgun. Claire, on the other hand, who is a college student, is actually looking for her brother, Chris Redfield, a STARS member, and she gets a whole slew of weapons. 2 different handguns, one of which is actually a built-in Magnum, which then gives it the same power as Leon's Desert Eagle. She gets a handgun with a laser sight for like more accuracy. An SMG, which most Resident Evil games, the SMG is kind of garbage, but this is helpful because it's suppressed. A grenade launcher with 2 different ammo types, one being flame and one being acid rounds, and a giant taser. Like, again, all relatively normal up until the giant taser. I don't understand, but it's kind of amazing. Now, earlier I mentioned the returning feature of the ability to craft ammo from RE3 1999. There is another feature from another Resident Evil game that Resident Evil 2 Remake has and expands upon, and that is the backup or sub-weapons from Resident Evil 1 Remake, which in that game was a dagger, a taser, and a frag grenade. And this, they have been changed to a knife, a flashbang, and a frag grenade. So I guess the only thing that changed was the knife was a dagger originally, and the flashbang was a taser originally. These all serve relatively the same purpose, but they are still something cool to go over, so we're going to talk about them here now. First up is the combat knife. This can be used when a zombie grabs you from the front, you stab it into them to just push them off of you so that you don't take damage. Next up is the flashbang, which you stuff into the mouth to, yet again, prevent you from taking damage, but at the same time, after a short period of time, the flashbang will go off, blinding the zombie that you stuffed in its mouth and any surrounding zombies, which gives you a chance to either kill it or just run by it. Last, but certainly not least, we have the frag grenade, which you stuff in the zombie's mouth, and after a few seconds, the frag grenade will go off, killing the zombie immediately with no questions, just gone. And I believe this will either kill or heavily damage any other zombies in the vicinity. Now, what happens if you're playing and you get chomped on? Well, thankfully, Leon is somehow immune to the G and T virus, but doesn't mean he's not going to feel it. And Raccoon City is thankfully native to some medicinal herbs. We're going to go over those and their benefits, and this is how we're going to talk about the healing mechanics. So, when you first start playing Resident Evil, all the different herbs may look a little overwhelming. To break it down, very simple. Green is always health. Red must be combined with something, and blue heals poison. So, to go a little more in depth, if you combine green and red together, you get a full heal. If you combine red and blue together, you get a shield that provides some damage resistance. And if you combine green, red, and blue together, you get the full heal of the green and red effects and the damage resistance booster of the red and blue. And if you're poisoned, it will get rid of your poison from just the solo effect of the blue herb. Well, that's going to wrap up the gameplay section, but there are a couple other parts I want to talk about, and without further ado, let's jump straight into the enemies, because the enemies are a huge part of Resident Evil's identity. Resident Evil is quite famous for its stalker enemies and monsters, with the most famous of them all most likely being Nemesis. But however, Nemesis is not in this game, but there is Mr. X.
Jesus Christ!
That is, in fact, not Jesus, but that is Mr. X, or the Tyrant, who is a indestructible, bulletproof, just monster, absolute force to be reckoned with. If you are not careful around him, he will wreck your shit. But there is his one caveat, his very, very loud footsteps, which kind of show you, if you pay attention, you can kind of tell where he is in close proximity to you by how loud his footsteps are. Mr. X is the stalker enemy for Resident Evil 2. Like I said, he is bulletproof and he is invincible, but that doesn't mean that he can't be outsmarted. His AI is kind of dumb. So, just kind of give it time and you'll begin to learn how it works, and you can outsmart him. But that doesn't mean don't act like he's not a threat, because he certainly is. The next enemy I want to talk about is, this thing.
What in God's name?
That thing is a licker, where it gets its name from its incredibly long tongue. However, they are blind as a bat. They cannot see anything, but they have an extremely heightened sense of hearing. So if you run, you shoot, make any sort of noise, this thing will be on you within seconds. It is best that when you are in a room with a licker, you take your time, you pace very slowly, and you don't make any noise. So honestly, compared to the lickers, the next enemy we're going to discuss, which is the dogs, is not that big of a deal. They're more just annoying because they're fast, but to make up with their very fast speed, they have very, very low health. 3 rounds from any handgun will take them down. 1 round from a shotgun or anything stronger, they're dead immediately. They're not a huge threat, they're just kind of annoying. Now, an enemy that is annoying and is a relatively big threat and is a very, very big jump up from dogs and the lickers are the mutant G adults, which are found in the Raccoon City sewers. These guys are slow and they're relatively strong, but their main thing is if they grab you and you don't have a sub-weapon, they will poison you, which then you need to have blue herbs for, and if you don't have blue herbs, your health is continuously ticking down until you die. The only way to cure poison is with a blue herb. So make sure when you're in the sewer, you try to have some on you. Their main caveat is their big, like, pus sac on their shoulder. If you shoot it enough, it will show an eyeball growing out of the side of their arm. Same as the thing with eyes. Shoot it till it pops. and then they die. So they are, again, easy enough to deal with if you know how to handle them. If you don't know how to handle them, it's going to be a pain in the ass, and it's going to be a struggle. But try to keep your distance, and make sure to have something powerful with you, like multiple shotgun shells or a few magnum rounds, and you can take them out. While collecting all the footage for this video and talking about the enemies in a specific order, I'm now realizing the further that the protagonists get into these games, the worse the enemies they have to deal with and the more dangerous they are. We are now going to be talking about one of the most dangerous enemies in the game, and that is the IVs. What makes the IVs particularly dangerous is the fact that if they catch you and you do not have a sub-weapon, you will die. There is no ifs, and buts, or about it. You will die. Because what happens is they are a plant hybrid mutation monster thing, and when they grab you, their head splits open and it's a Venus flytrap. And it will just chomp down on your character's head and kill them because you don't have a sub-weapon to get them off you. You can use any sub-weapon. It doesn't need to be the grenade. It doesn't need to be the flashbang or the combat knife. It just needs to be one of them. Doesn't matter which. Doesn't matter. Just make sure you have one at all times when you're going through the Umbrella Labs. Their main weakness, though, is they have orange bows on them that you can shoot to pop, or if you have Leon's handy-dandy flamethrower or some of Claire's flame rounds for a grenade launcher, shoot one of them suckers at it and it will burst up into a ball of flames. And that is their main weakness because they're a plant, they're made out of grass, fire is their weakness, and they will die. Just make sure that you're very, very careful around them because there's nothing worse than having like a hardcore, like minimal saves run or no saves run, getting caught by these guys, no sub-weapon, you die right back to the start of the game. Or just losing a bunch of progress because they are a one-hit kill no matter what if you have no save weapon. Now, I thought it'd be a little funny to cover all these horrifying abominations and get to the very end and then scoop right back to the start and talk about basic zombies. Basic zombies, they're not a big deal. They can be if they catch you in a small, like compact, like hallway or room. But for the most part, they're very easy to move around. Pop them in the head once, double tap them in the knee, and just get going. And as long as you keep your distance, you'll be fine. Or if you want to get up close and personal, Leon's shotgun, one clean shot of the head, gone. The next enemy I'll be covering can be considered relatively big spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to this timestamp here, and I'll be back. This monster right here is known as G, or Birkin. William Birkin, the umbrella scientist who stuck himself with a vial of the G after he gets shot by Hunk and his team of umbrella soldiers that were sent in there to retrieve the G virus. They did not make it, but now G is down here in the bottom of the RPD, and Leon has to face him here. Another time later on at the end of the sewers where G has now mutated. He has a giant claw for an arm and he has two heads. And then later on at the end of the Nest Umbrella Laboratory where G has taken over and what once made William Birkin is no longer really there, as he now has 4 arms, both his legs, and the G head has taken over most of it, and William's actual head is just like a little bit just hanging out by the side, covered in flesh. And last but not least, the final monster that Leon is going to be dealing with throughout his campaign is Super Tyrant. This is the mutated form of Tyrant, or Mr. X, which was the first monster that we covered. This is after he's taken a bunch of damage, his coat has been burned off, he's lost his hat, and now his heart is sticking out the front of his chest, and you can see it beating. He has lost his arm and now is just a giant chunk of like shredded and just like bone that is basically a giant blade that he will swing at you while he is trying to kill you, and his bottom jaw has been destroyed as well. So he roars, which is the only time Mr. X actually makes noise. The rest of it, he's been stone cold quiet the entire game. This is Leon's probably most dangerous threat because much like the other enemies, Mr. X now, or Super Tyrant, has a move where he will roar, put his bone claw on the ground, and run towards you, and if you do not figure out a way to stop him or you are not able to dodge it, he will send it right through Leon's chest, immediately insta-killing him. This is one of Leon's final threats he has to face throughout the entire game. I believe this wraps up the section on monsters, so now we can move on to the story. I will be talking about Leon A, Claire B, as this appears to be the most agreed upon canon story structure for Resident Evil 2, and this will be full spoilers. This is your warning. Resident Evil 2 begins with an unnamed trucker driving on a lonely, desolate road while he's falling asleep until wham! Suddenly he hits something in the middle of the road. This is a zombie, meaning he has to be somewhat close on the outskirts of Raccoon City for a zombie to have wandered out here. Here we meet Leon, one of the two main protagonists in Resident Evil 2. He is on his way into Raccoon City for his first day on the force. However, when he's at this gas station, things seem pretty sketchy, and him being a cop decides to go investigate, and he finds this.
Stop moving!
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir, I got this!
Hey! Wait now!
Help me!
Well, after Leon just saw a man get his throat ripped out by a zombie, he quickly neutralizes the target and then gets out of Dodge immediately and books it to the entrance to the gas station to leave. On his way to the entrance, he bumps into Claire Redfield, the second protagonist of Resident Evil 2, whose story we will talk about after Leon's done. Leon and Claire very quickly getting overwhelmed by the just enormous horde of zombies that came out of absolutely nowhere. They jump into the officer who was in the gas station, into his car, and they drive out to Raccoon City.
Attention all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak, you are advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station.
However, when Leon and Claire arrive in Raccoon City, they realize it's even worse here than it was in the gas station when they get attacked by a small horde of zombies, and to make matters worse, that truck driver from earlier is now barreling towards them, and they have no way to back up because the zombies are clinging to their vehicle and they have to brace for impact.
Hold on!
The truck that rammed Leon and Claire's police car then flips and explodes, separating Leon and Claire. They are both surrounded by zombies and the flames of the explosion, and yell to each other that they are going to meet up at the police station.
Claire! Claire, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. How about you?
Can't stay here, it's not safe!
Go on ahead. I'll meet you at the station.
I'll be there!
And with that, Leon marches his way through the carnage of the streets and makes his way to the RPD. Leon opens up a nearby laptop and is looking through the security camera feeds to see if he can find any survivors, and he finds one officer who needs some help. So Leon tracks down his location by using the security cameras and goes off to help him.
It's in here! Send reinforcements! East hallway! I gotta find that guy.
Leon makes his way to the east hallway to go help that officer, but when he gets there, things don't go exactly how he would have hoped for him or the officer.
Help me! Please! Give me your hand. Help me! I got you. Give me your other hand. Jesus Christ.
This proves to Leon immediately, if he didn't already get the vibe, that the police station is overrun and is no longer safe. He then has to fight his way back where he came to the main hall while there are zombies now flooding in around him. Leon, being the absolute Chad that he is, fights his way through with relatively no issue up until he gets to the shutter door, and he has to be saved by the one and only Marvin Brana.
God damn it! Watch out!
You're safe. For now.
Thanks.
Marvin Brana.
Leon Kennedy. There was another officer I couldn't...
Here. I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
This man here is Sergeant Marvin Brana, which is actually Leon's superior. Now, things don't seem to be going too well for Marvin as he is clearly injured, and Marvin has a very serious and very helpful pep talk with Leon.
Now, you'll need this.
I can't take...
Stop. And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate. You take it out. Or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And with that, Leon is off to go collect 3 medallions, which Elliot, the officer from earlier, believed would open up an underground passage that led to a secret way out of the RPD. Leon gets the 3 medallions with relative ease because the solution to unlock all of them was actually in Elliot's notebook from earlier. Thanks, Elliot! Leon brings the 3 medallions back to the statue by Marvin that had the 3 indentations for each of them, and lo and behold, once he puts in all 3, the bars go down and it reveals a underground hidden passage that leads to the basement of the RPD. Leon tries the bars and realizes they work, so he goes to Marvin to tell him it's time to go, but Marvin actually tells Leon to go on ahead without him, and Marvin is just going to slow him down. Leon tries to, be like, no, you need to come with me, to the point that Marvin actually pulls his gun on him and tells him to go.
Save yourself.
Come on, I've got you.
Go!
Look, we can still make it out of here together. You just can...
It's too late. I tried, Leon. But I couldn't stop it. We can't let this thing spread. It's on you now. Just go.
I understand.
And with that, Leon heads down the mysterious passage and finds himself in this weird, industrial garage type area where he comes head to head with William Birkin. This is William Birkin, or the monster known as G. We talked about him briefly during the monster section of the game, but this is what Leon has to deal with now as part of the game. And Leon very quickly and without much issue dispatches Birkin and moves on, only to see a ladder mysteriously drop that there was nobody near. So, seems like somebody's watching Leon.
Somebody's watching.
After Bergen is all done and dealt with, Leon makes his way to the parking garage and realizes he doesn't have a key. Then he gets jumped, but in the nick of time, he's saved by a mysterious woman.
You gotta be kidding me. Get off of me!
Hey,
Who is that?
stay sharp.
This mysterious woman is Ada Wong, who is pretending to be an FBI agent to get information on the G-Virus.
FBI, huh? What's going on here?
Sorry, that information's classified.
Where you going?
Do yourself a favor. Stop asking questions and get the hell out of here.
Leon does some exploration in like the bottom part of the RPD in the parking garage until he wanders into the jail cells and finds a man named Ben locked in a holding cell. Ben was locked in here by the police chief, who we will meet later on when I cover Claire's section of the story, and Ben has the parking permit that Leon needs to get out of the RPD, and Ben poses that they make a deal. If Leon gets him out of the cell, Ben will give him the key. Plain and simple. However, it's clear they are not alone here, and something bursts through the wall and kills Ben. So Leon comes to the unfortunate conclusion that all he can do is figure out how to open up Ben's cell, which he will be able to do with electrical puzzle pieces, and just get the parking garage key and just leave. With Ben dead now, Leon is getting ready to leave to head on his way out to go figure out a way to open up Ben's holding cell, but he runs into the mysterious woman from earlier, and they actually exchange names now, and Leon figures out that her name is Ada. Not only that, but he also finds out that Ben was supposedly an informant for Ada so that she can figure out what's going on with the G-Virus and Umbrella through him.
He was an informant. Had information of use to my investigation.
So what he said was true? Hey, you can't keep walking away from me. I don't even know your name. I'm Leon Kennedy.
Find a way out, Leon. Before it's too late. Then we'll talk. Name's Ada.
While Leon is on the hunt for both electronic pieces, he runs into the thing that killed Ben, which is the Tyrant who we spoke about earlier. While Mr. X is certainly a huge obstacle on Leon's path, it is really no match for him, and he's able to overcome him quite quickly, and he's able to get the second electronic piece and make his way back down to Ben's cell to open it and get the parking garage key. When Leon goes over to Ben to pick up the parking garage key, he also finds a recorder with some pretty interesting stuff on it.
That doesn't explain the rumors about the orphanage. I just find it way too coincidental Umbrella's one of the benefactors.
You told me this interview was about the new scholarship Umbrella set up.
Come on, Annette. Nobody cares about that. They want to know about the G-Virus.
Where did you hear about this?
And that big fucking sinkhole in the city, which, by the way, rumor has it goes straight to your underground lab. Now, are you going to talk to me, or are you going to...
This interview's over.
Bitch.
With the keycard in hand, Leon and Ada make their way out of the RPD and bump into Robert Kendo, a gunsmith and current Raccoon City survivor. Complete side note, I really like what Capcom did with Robert Kendo in the remake, because in the original, if I remember correctly, he was just kind of weird and like creepy towards Claire, versus now he's a devoted father who has a daughter to look after. The only issue is his daughter is infected and he knows she doesn't have much time left.
Daddy?
Happy Daddy's here. Come here. Okay? Those fucking things outside. What they did to us. You're a cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen? Huh? She was our sweet little angel.
Mommy.
I was sleeping, honey. Okay? And I'm gonna put you to bed too, okay? Emma. Just go. Just give us some privacy.
After that absolute gut punch of a scene, Leon and Ada make their way down to a nearby sewer to continue their journey. And since Leon seems to just be having the absolute worst luck, while he's down here with no way to get back up, he gets attacked by an enormous infected alligator. This scene here seems to be very reminiscent of any of the QuickTime events in RE4 where you're running from the boulder, but nonetheless, Leon lucks out super hard and is able to slide beneath an explosive pipe, shoot it, and take care of the alligator.
Chew on that, you overgrown son of a bitch.
Excuse him, ladies and gentlemen, he is not quite at his peak of one-liners just yet. A little while later, Leon and Ada get super lucky and they bump into the one person that Ada's actually looking for, Annette Birkin.
Identify yourself.
Annette Birkin.
She's who we're looking for?
Not much time. Need to dispose of it. We're here for the G-Virus. That's not gonna happen.
I'm warning you, Doctor.
Oh, yeah?
Hey!
Stop! You'll never get the G-Virus!
And as if his day couldn't get any worse, Leon gets shot in the shoulder and falls unconscious.
Leon!
Forget about me. Just go. Stop her before she gets away.
While here we learn that Ada is not entirely heartless, she does still have her own mission and agenda that she is trying to complete. Ada's section is relatively short because this is not Ada's game. It is a little side, I guess, mission in the middle of Leon's while he is recovering. It consists of Ada basically just trying to hunt down Annette because she can't be too far from where she last was, and most of it just basically revolves around either you avoiding or trying to take out the zombies in your path while using Ada's very fancy little like spy gun, which she is able to like hack stuff with and like activate like electric panels and walls so that she can open up certain doors. Ada is able to get her hands on an Umbrella level 1 like guest ID wristband, which would allow her access to the very like early like beginning stages of the Nest compound, which is further down in Raccoon City. Unfortunately for her, Annette traps her inside of an incinerator and tries to burn her alive. Ada should consider herself extremely lucky that her gun was able to overload the generators and pop the locks so that she could get out of the incinerator before it killed her. Then she gets off relatively scot-free for the time being. I say for the time being because not even moments later, Ada immediately continues her pursuit against Annette, where after a very short conversation, Annette starts up a piece of machinery that comes barreling towards Ada that forces her to jump off the side, where she tries to catch herself on a railing of sorts, but then she falls into a garbage disposal that is just full of like a bunch of like dirty, rusty, contaminated metal, which one of these metal shards just jabs right into Ada's leg, and now she's stuck there and she just passes out.
Where's Leon when I need him?
Shortly after Ada's garbage disposal incident, Leon wakes up to find out Ada is magically missing. So he goes on a hunt to find her and finds her not too long afterwards in said garbage disposal, and he now makes it his mission, as Ada saved him, to save her from her predicament that she's now stuck in.
Come on. Ada. I'm coming, Ada.
Now, the sewer section is very much strictly just gameplay. There's no real story cutscenes that happen at all until Ada is saved, so I'm just going to talk about the moments that lead up to him saving her. So the reason as to why Leon can't save Ada yet is she's behind an electrically magnetic locked door that uses chess pieces as the plugs to unlock it. He only needs to find 3, which once you've played the game a few times, the puzzle to get them is not all that difficult. All he needs to get is the queen, the king, and the rook. With these 3 pieces in hand, he can run over to the door, he can plug them in, and he can save Ada. Leon can finally open up this door, but before he can save Ada, he has another small, little, itsy-bitty issue that he has to deal with first.
Jesus Christ!
That's right, our boy catches a huge claw just straight to the dome. Well, it looks like the monster from earlier, William Birkin, or G, didn't actually die, and he's back with a vengeance. There's not a whole lot to talk about during this boss fight, as it's very scripted. Once you get to the arena, you'll see a crate attached to a crane with a button. All you have to do is hit this button to wind the crane back with this box on it, and then when G is in the middle of it, just hit him with the box. That's all you gotta do. It's very scripted. There's not really a whole lot to go about. The only thing you can do to change it is that before the first swing of the box, when it hits G, if you can damage him enough, you might be able to knock him off and finish the boss fight early by dealing enough damage to him. If not, the first one will basically bring him down to half health, and then you hit him a second time and he's dead. Boss fight over. That's really all there is to it. It's not much like the other boss fights where it's like running from him and dealing damage with the weapons you have. After all this time, Leon can finally rescue Ada and get moving on with his mission.
You protected me. Now it's my turn.
Didn't realize we were keeping score.
Grab my shoulder.
Don't push it, rookie.
Okay, just trying to help. Watch your step.
You want to help? We have to get to the nest.
Nest?
Umbrella's lab, right beneath us. Net let it slip. That's where the virus samples are.
And with that, Leon and Ada are on their way down to the Nest laboratories beneath them. While on the tram to Nest, Leon and Ada have a very heartfelt moment, but unfortunately, duty calls and they both have to get back to their mission.
I'm not just gonna leave you here. What if you're attacked? What if you need help?
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I gotta see this through. And I want to see you again. I got plenty to live for, trust me.
Now, arriving at Nest.
Go. Please, we don't have much time. You're gonna need this.
Okay.
Leon. Counting on you.
I know.
And with that, Leon walks into the Umbrella Labs in his search for the G-Virus. Just like the sewers, the Nest area can be completed extremely quickly because it's very streamlined. Leon does some very general, just like exploring of his nearby surroundings just to figure out what's going on, and he already finds the 2nd level wristband needed to explore the rest of Nest. Leon having up to level 2 security clearance is a huge help for him because otherwise, I mean, 1, he'd just be stuck in the lobby, but 2, it actually really, lets him get around. There's a lot more that he's able to get to, and again, Umbrella isn't a real company, and I know nothing about companies like that, so I don't know what would be out of place for a room for somebody that isn't senior staff to get to, but the general staff allows him to get through quite a lot. Leon eventually makes his way into a room where he sees a man that was killed by a giant plant, and this man just so happens to be holding the next key card that he needs, which is the senior staff card. Leon proceeds to fight his way through a room that is just straight from hell, with mutant walking Venus flytraps that can kill him within an instant. But they do have one weakness, which is fire, so if you have the flamethrower at this point, you're kind of golden. But regardless, he fights his way through this room and then makes it into a room that is slightly closer to where he can get the herbicide container to try to take down this giant plant that is known as Plant 43. Leon goes to disperse the solution that's already in the container, and it does absolutely nothing. So he comes to the conclusion that he's going to have to make his own herbicide, cool it, and then bring it back and try again. After fiddling with a admittedly extremely easy puzzle to make a giant plant killing solution, which I don't know, I just feel like Umbrella would have a much higher, like, you gotta be really smart to do this. He just has to press a couple different multicolored buttons, but he's able to make the herbicide, and then he just has to run on downstairs to the cooler to cool it, and he can finally kill this big plant. With the solution fully completed and cooled, now he can bring it back to the room that he got the dispersal cartridge from, and he can try it again. This time, it has much, much better success.
Dispensing solution now.
Now, with the key card falling out of the wristband, all Leon has to do is just go in there and collect it. Easy peasy. Or, well, at least it was supposed to be easy, but now, not only does Leon have the Tyrant on him again, who we haven't seen in hours by this point, he now has all of the IVs that woke up, so he has to get out of this room with the Tyrant on his ass and like 4 IVs cornered around him. But Leon does it, hopefully with no issues. Once Leon gets the senior staff key, it's relatively smooth sailing. In fact, he actually gets the G virus with pretty much no issue.
Huh. That was easy.
Okay, maybe Leon and I spoke a little too soon, because almost immediately after he grabs the G virus, he has to deal with this. That is the final stage of G that Leon will have to fight in his A scenario. This is G3. Birkin, pretty much gone by this point. I'm pretty sure all that's really left of him is just like his head that's kind of poking out of like the upper neck area of this thing. But this is not a man anymore. This is purely a monster. The G3 Birkin fight is definitely the hardest fight that Leon has in the entire game so far, because he's so tall and he is a hulking monster. You can be at full green health and in one swipe, bam, straight down to red on the brink of death. Out of sheer perseverance and probably a whole lot of luck, Leon is able to put this thing down. Alright, now very quickly, I want to go back right before this fight begins, where you finally get to learn what actually caused William Birkin to infect himself with the G virus and turn into the monster we see before us.
You don't get away that easily.
Good God, William. What have you done?
So that scene there was moments after Hunk's team came in and shot him when I talked about him way at the start of this video in the enemy section. Annette was also seriously injured right before the G3 Birkin fight, so afterwards Leon goes to go check on her, and he learns the unfortunate truth about who Ada really is.
Jesus. That looks bad.
Feels worse. Believe me.
Talk about what you said. I don't know how much I believe.
Just tell me you'll destroy that G sample.
No, it's evidence. It's going to the FBI.
You trust that bitch?
What's that supposed to mean?
She's not FBI. She's a mercenary. She's gonna sell it. The G-Virus is gonna go to the highest bidder.
Bullshit.
Leon absolutely 100% does not want to believe what Annette said about Ada being a mercenary, but unfortunately Ada herself will reveal what Annette said was completely true in just a few seconds.
I was just thinking about you.
That makes 2 of us. I was getting worried.
No, we make a good team. I gotta ask you something.
Way's clear. Please, tell me you got it.
Oh, I got it.
Let me verify the G sample and we get the hell out of here.
Before we do that, I ran into Annette. She claims you're not FBI.
Oh, Leon. Why couldn't you just hand over the sample?
Because I realized, as much as I wanted to trust you, I didn't.
I really hoped it wouldn't end up like this.
So that's all this was. I was just some pawn to you?
Look, I'm just doing my job.
And I'm doing mine, so drop that damn gun! I'm taking you in.
Hand over the sample, Leon. I don't want to hurt you.
And you shoot me. But I don't think you can.
Almost immediately after Ada lowers her weapon, she gets shot in the shoulder by a net, injuring her, but before either of them can really react to the injury, the bridge beneath them collapses and Leon immediately goes to grab Ada's hand so she doesn't fall into the abyss beneath them. Leon is now begging and pleading with Ada to hold on so that he can pull her up, but Ada knows her time's up and tells Leon to have a good life and to take care of himself, and she falls.
It's not worth it.
Don't do this.
Take care of yourself, Leon.
No!
And with that, Leon knows he has to get out of here because the nest self-destruction timer has began and he has less than 10 minutes to get out of here before the whole place goes. With the destruction imminent, Leon makes his way into the elevator and he sees this thing. I don't actually know what it is, but whatever it is, it does not look good and it looks like it's going to explode very, very soon. He makes his way out of the elevator and he gets his first contact with Claire in a very long time. I think the last time they actually spoke was at the gate at the very start of the game, like right after the helicopter crash.
What's that? Claire!
Leon? You're down here too!
Yeah, but the whole place is coming down. Listen to me. You need to get out. Fast.
Yeah. There's a way out. We can make it. Where are you now?
Claire, are you still there?
Leon? Hey, Leon, you're breaking up.
Forget about me. Just get out of here. Damn it.
So Leon fights his way through hell yet again with more IVs, and he gets through and he runs in the Tyrant one more time. And at this point, you can just tell he's just getting pissed off and annoyed just based on his reaction here, which I think is so funny.
Is this a fucking joke?
Canonically, in cutscenes and like lines that he will say in every single playthrough, he honestly doesn't swear that much in Resident Evil 2, but you can tell by this point he is just done. Leon ends up getting cornered and attacked by the Tyrant yet again, but through absolute luck this time, the room is just exploding and engulfed in flames that the floor beneath him lets out, and the Tyrant gets caught in the explosions and Leon is able to get away. Leon makes it to the final arena of his story, so to speak, where everything is on the line now. He either makes it out of this last encounter or he dies in the nest explosion. And just when Leon thought this bastard was finally dead, he comes back with a vengeance and he's stronger now. This is Leon's final test. It wasn't G3 Birkin, it's Super Tyrant. As you can see, the explosions and fire from earlier absolutely destroyed him. His arm is a mangled mess. It's basically just a giant shattered bone that is in like a long jagged blade now. His heart is popping out of his chest. The bottom of his jaw is all messed up. He is a monster now, and he has every intention on killing Leon here. The scariest thing about this fight by far is the fact that Tyrant now makes noise. The entire game he was dead silent. Now he roars.
Not good.
The first time I played this game all the way back in 2019, that scared the absolute shit out of me because he didn't talk at all. He never made any noise, and now he's roaring at me, and if you don't stun him with a flashbang or grenade, he charges at you and sends that blade through Leon's chest, killing him immediately. During this fight with Super Tyrant, an explosion goes off, and then magically a rocket launcher comes sliding down the metal bars right into the arena. I wonder who this could be from.
We'll call it even.
Leon picks up the rocket launcher immediately and shoots Super Tyrant with it, putting an end to this damn thing once and for all. Leon has done it. Super Tyrant is dead. All he has to do is deal with a few more zombies at the very end, and he can jump on this train and get out of this hellhole of a city once and for all.
Shit! Gotta get out of here.
Leon ran like hell. He gets on this train and he can finally take a breather. There is nothing else here that can hurt him. He is no longer in danger. He grabs the ID wristband and reminisces about Ada one last time because as far as he knows, she is still dead.
Can't believe I actually miss her.
The story for Leon here kind of ends on a bittersweet moment because as much as Ada wasn't a good person and she played Leon, Leon feels for her. Like, he cares for her, and that is a thing that happens in the series a lot. He gets his heart broken by this woman so many times, but he stands up and he gets on the train, and that is the end of Leon's story. Or is it? That right there is just a little teaser for what you'll get when you do the B scenario. There is one final secret boss fight there, but we're going to talk about that when we get to Claire. Now, I don't want to waste any of your time as this video is already long enough. It is 53 minutes, which is crazy. This is my longest video to date, and we're just going to jump into Claire's story. It's not going to be as in-depth as Leon's because, in all honesty, Capcom really dropped the ball with the B scenarios. Like, both characters fight the same bosses the same way in the same area. It doesn't make any sense. Character A should have dealt with this boss here. Character B shouldn't have had to deal with that boss. Like, they have to find the same key items. It's a whole mess, so I'm not really going to go super in-depth on Claire's story. I'm just going to talk about the major differences and when she did something that Leon didn't do. Now, funnily enough, the first difference in Claire's B story is actually right at the very beginning. She has an entirely new start location. This location is actually the side front entrance of the RPD, whereas Leon goes through the front gate in his A scenario, Claire goes to the side entrance, and she gets there a lot later than you'd think. Now, I say a lot later than you think because when Claire meets Leon here, Leon would have already made it to the front of the RPD, gone underneath the garage door in the front, met Elliot, saw him get bitten, run all the way back, meet Marvin when he gets saved by Marvin, gear up in his police uniform, go through the door that you need the tape to pull the lever to get through, that hallway where the liquor is later on, make his way to the planning room, hop through the glass, make his way to the 3rd floor, grab the spade key, come out of the library, and where Marvin then says, Leon, I need to talk to you, there's somebody here. Leon would go meet Marvin and then cycle his way back up to the 2nd floor to get here. All of that happens in the span that it took for Claire to just get to the RPD. After this little interaction here with Leon, Claire bobs and weaves her way through some zombies, finds a special key, a brand new gun that is exclusive to her B scenario, and finally gets her way into the RPD. One of the first things you notice in Claire's B story is that there is evidence of Leon already being here, such as some of the doors already being open, the main hall already has zombies in it, and unfortunately, our boy Marvin is already infected and he is now just a zombie. Claire has no interaction with him in her B story, she does in her A story, but not in her B, and he just kind of acts as a regular zombie that'll just try to kill you. The thing about the B story is it is much more gameplay focused and much more faster paced than the A story. The A story is if you want all the lore in one go. The B story is if you want the extra lore at the end of the game. Claire navigates around the RPD for a little bit until she finds the statues that she needs to open up the main statue pedestal in the main lobby, and she gets the unicorn, the lion, and the maiden statue very easily without much issue, and then she makes her way down to the underground lab where she fights G1 Birkin, and she meets Sherry. Now, the G1 fight as Claire, especially in her B scenario, is incredibly easy. I mean, the fight isn't all that hard to begin with, but as Claire, her weapons are very, very overpowered. She has a very fast shooting revolver, a grenade launcher that can shoot acid and flame rounds, and a fully automatic suppressed SMG. So Claire makes very, very quick work of Birkin, and then she goes up and talks to Sherry, because Sherry is just as important to Claire's story as Ada was to Leon's. So Sherry is the daughter of Annette Birkin, who we met in Leon's story, and William Birkin, who is G, who we just killed for the time being, and she is terrified. And you cannot blame her. She is a little girl in a city gone to hell. She doesn't know where her mom is, and her dad is a huge hulking monster right now. Claire and Sherry make their way out of the underground section where she just got done fighting G1 Birkin, and they run into the same predicament as Leon, a locked parking garage door. So they have to get a key. Unfortunately, they don't get to be saved by somebody this time. They run into somebody who's arguably worse than any of the zombies, Police Chief Brian Irons. I say unfortunately because unlike Leon, who is trying to save people as he goes, the police chief is not a great guy.
Sherry? I've been looking everywhere for you, Sherry. Brave little girl to leave your house in the middle of this mess. On the ground, hands behind your head.
You can't be serious.
On the ground, now. Sherry, tie her hands.
Why are you doing this?
Shut up. Tie her. Okay then. You tie her up now, or she dies.
What's this all about?
Child endangerment, for starters. Sherry, come here.
What are you gonna do to her?
None of your fucking business.
If you hurt her, I swear to God, my brother is stars and I will fuck.
Sherry, get over here. What's your name? What's your fucking name?
Claire!
Sherry, you come with me now, or say goodbye to Claire.
Okay, I'll go. You better be taking me to my mom.
Absolutely.
Don't listen to him, he's full of shit.
Stop hurting her, please!
Don't tell me how to do my job.
Stop! Let me go! Let me go!
Obviously, nobody taught you manners. We'll fix that. Oh, yes, we will.
Let me go! Let me go!
I'll get you, you fucker!
So yeah, that's the police chief. I don't think he's very nice per se. So Clara now has to figure out how to get out of the RPD, and she knows she needs a parking garage key. She's gonna get it the same way Leon did. So Claire scrambles around the RPD, collecting electronic pieces and everything else she needs till she gets to go into a new area that Leon didn't go to, which is Chief Iron's office, where she finds the parking garage key. Claire expertly solves this puzzle with absolutely no issues. It definitely didn't take me a good 3 minutes, and then she gets a call from Chief Irons from a nearby location saying to bring the pendant that Sherry dropped when Chief Irons kidnapped her, or something bad is gonna happen.
Hello?
Good to see you again, Claire. We've got unfinished business.
Where's that?
In the neighborhood. You'll find it.
Is Sherry all right?
For now.
I swear, you bastard, if you hurt her...
Stupid kid. If you just hadn't dropped that fucking thing, I could let you go.
After that cutscene, you actually transition into playing as Sherry, because this is the secondary character section, like how in Leon's campaign there was a time where you played as Ada. Now in Claire's campaign, you play as Sherry. Now, Sherry's section is very interesting to say the least, because Sherry is a small child. She has no access to weapons, so how is she going to defend herself from anything? Well, she is small, so she can hide. Her section is all puzzles and stealth. You get no weapons as her. The whole goal of her section, however, is to hide and sneak around the orphanage to get the keys to the front and get out. However, despite Sherry's best efforts, she is not able to get the key right away, and she throws something in Chief Iron's face, angering him to the point that he is playing no games anymore and is way more violent than he was beforehand.
To learn to listen.
Leave me alone! Just please!
Time to teach some manners. You little bitch! You're gonna pay for this! You little shit!
Now, this section here is the bulk of her gameplay, and basically, you and Chief Irons are in a room together, and he's looking around with a flashlight. If he catches you and the flashlight beam gets on you, you're done for. It is a fail, and you have to start over, but basically, you just want to rotate around this block while staying crouched so he does not see you. Eventually, his face will burn too much, and he has to run to the bathroom to put water on it, and he leaves his key in the door, and that's when Sherry's chance comes to take the key and get out. The minute Sherry takes the key, Chief Irons is done cleaning his face, he sees the key is missing, and he is pissed. So he immediately flips over blocks while Sherry is running, making a mad dash to the door to try to catch her in time. However, Sherry is just quick enough that she's able to unlock the door, get downstairs, and run back into the room that she went in when she was trying to grab the key in the first place. But the only thing about that room is it's a dead end, so now Chief Irons is gonna get Sherry until Sherry is saved by someone, or more accurately, something.
Now you're in trouble!
Let me go! No, stop!
We're going to talk about what just happened in a minute, but for now, we are now back in control of Claire, parking garage key in hand, on a mission to get to the orphanage. Claire gets to the bottom part of the RPD, no issues. She has a very small run-up with the Tyrant, but he's more just a gameplay issue, like, hey, don't get punched in the face while trying to wait for the gate to come up. After that, though, she gets down on the streets. She's making her way through the streets, no big deal. There's a couple zombies here and there, but at this point, she is far more experienced because of her time in the RPD, and she arrives at the orphanage. Claire makes her way into the orphanage, and we see what really happened to Police Chief Brian Irons.
Your fault!
What?
It took too long!
What happened? Oh, God. Get off me! Oh, my God! Jesus Christ!
So, full stop for anybody that is confused. One, that is 100% a reference to Aliens, the movie with the chestburster scene. And two, what happened in lore was when William grabbed him by the face and that thing came out of his hand into his mouth, he implanted him with a G embryo, and that basically was just in his body and it bursted out. And if it were to mutate, he would turn into a G creature, like the ones that are found in the sewers. But because it just burst out of his chest, it just killed him. Anyways, back to the game. Claire trudges on a little bit more forward and she finds a trap door leading down to the basement or the sewers. And down there, she finds Sherry. But something else finds both of them down there. The tyrant is now back on Claire's trail and is hunting them. However, the tyrant doesn't make it very far before he gets absolutely wrecked by Birkin, who is for some reason just kind of still in the area.
Sherry, come on!
Daddy?
What'd you say?
So, when the elevator crashed, Claire was knocked unconscious, and Sherry tries her hardest to wake her up, but is unable to. Annette, Sherry's mother, has somehow figured out where they were, and Annette is able to wake her up. But Claire is dazed and confused and doesn't know that Annette is Sherry's mom yet, so she is just more worried about Sherry. She's like, where is she? Is she okay? And Annette, being so cold and calculated right now, just kind of snaps at Claire and is like, my daughter is not of your concern. Do not worry about her. She's fine.
Can you help me find Sherry?
Seems to be evolving much faster than expected.
Where are you going?
Look, I don't have time to play 20 questions. Everything's under control.
I need to find Sherry.
My daughter is not your concern.
Claire's making her way through the sewers, and she runs into the room that had the chess piece puzzles and the weird, like, trash disposal room from Leon's campaign, except in the trash disposal room, it is no longer Ada. It's Sherry. Sherry is somehow in there. I'm not sure why. I don't know if Annette put her in there to kind of keep her safe, but regardless, Sherry is talking to Annette through a two-way video camera, like security camera, but I'm like 95% sure those did not exist in 1998. It seems a bit advanced for the time, but again, it doesn't really matter. Sherry is currently safe until she passes out, and this makes Claire terrified because Claire has been doing her absolute best to keep Sherry safe, and now Sherry has passed out and Claire has no way to get to her.
Sherry, I'm coming! Hold on, Sherry. I'll be right there.
So now Claire does exactly what Leon does and made her way to that room with the king and queen plugs, where in Leon's campaign there's a flamethrower there. In Claire's campaign there is a weapon known as a spark shot. It is pretty cool. Unfortunately, much like the flamethrower, you don't get a lot of ammo for it, but when you do have it, it's very powerful. It's basically just a big ass taser. Much like Leon, Claire doesn't struggle at all with this puzzle, and she nabs the 3 pieces that she needs very quickly, and now she can make her way back to the room with the chess puzzle pieces. Claire figures out the chess puzzle solution, no problem. The only difference now on second run as compared to Leon, it has a completely different setup, but that is with all the puzzles in the second run playthrough. They're all completely different solutions than the first run. Claire makes her way into the room with the switches right after the chess piece puzzle, and she flicks them on to open up the door for Sherry, but right as she's about to go meet Sherry, alas, she's attacked by G2 Birkin, and the fight is on yet again. As with the first G1 Birkin fight, the G2 Birkin fight with Claire's arsenal is an absolute cakewalk. I prefer Leon's weapons as I think they are more practical, and I just think the shotgun is way cooler, but in overall gameplay, technically speaking, Claire's weapons are better. They are more versatile, and they make light work of every single boss in this entire game. Claire dumps round after round after round to weaken Birkin until finally one of the crane swings takes him down, dealing with Birkin, and she can finally get back to Sherry. Claire is finally able to get back to Sherry and rescue her until she notices her eye, which is just super inflamed and it's red and you can just tell it's infected and it's not good. Through the two-way camera, Annette tells Claire that if Claire can get Sherry to Nest, Annette will be able to cure Sherry and Sherry will be saved. So that is exactly what Claire does. Claire marches down to the tram and gets Sherry to Nest. While on the tram, Claire and Sherry have a really, really nice conversation, and it's very much just Claire like assuring Sherry that she'll be okay, and Claire actually gives Sherry her jacket to wear because Claire says it's lucky.
Hey. Are you okay?
Your jacket's so warm.
My brother gave it to me. You know it's supposed to be lucky?
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Are you kidding me? You were doing just fine without me, so I came along and got you all sorts of trouble. I have something of yours.
I don't want it.
Really? Why not? It's so pretty.
It's for my mom. For my birthday last year. All I really wanted was for her to be home more.
I know it seems like your mom doesn't care, but... Hey, Sherry, come here. Hey. Hang in there, okay?
Now, arriving at Nest.
And with that, the tram arrives at Nest, and Claire can finally put Sherry in a proper bed and just let her rest while Claire does her job and keeps her safe. As with Leon, having a level 2 security band gives Claire so much more access to Nest, but Claire knows that she is going to need to get the level 3 access in order to get to the place where they keep the antiviral agent for the G-Virus so that Annette can create an antidote for Sherry's infection. So that is Claire's goal right now, is get that level 3 band so that she can have Annette make the antidote for Sherry. Claire very swiftly deals with the Ivies because with the Ivies' #1 weakness being fire, she has a grenade launcher that shoots fire. That is going to just immediately take them out. So Ivies are not much of an issue for Claire. She makes her way into the room where it has the incomplete herbicide. She sets that off and then she sets right on down the hallway to make the proper herbicide and get it frozen. With the frozen/cooled herbicide, Claire runs right back again to the room that she got the incomplete one and sets that one off, killing Plant 43, which allows her access to grab the level 3 wristband. The more I go through this video, the more it seems as if Leon's weapons are more practical for a zombie apocalypse, like what would actually be able to be gotten in an apocalypse as a regular survivor, where Claire's seem like they're just more overall better, like especially when fighting the high-profile enemies in Umbrella. Like, an Ivy is a big deal, but the game showers you in flame rounds. It does not shower you in flamethrower fuel. So Claire just has this grenade launcher from basically the start of the game that can take down high-profile enemies like that. Whereas Leon doesn't get his flamethrower until the sewer, and I'm pretty sure you get 700 fuel total, and that is counting the 400 that is already in it when he gets it. But regardless, Claire fights her way through all of the Ivies here and gets to the west side of Umbrella and gets ready for one of the biggest fights of her campaign. But before any fighting, Claire is able to get the antiviral agent for Sherry, which is why she was here in the first place.
Damn it. Look at that. All right. Hell yeah. Got it.
With the antiviral agent in hand, Claire leaves and is on her way to make it back to Sherry, but on her way there, she's got to deal with this bastard again.
What the hell is this thing?
Annette explains that that is her husband, and we also get more lore about what happened to him that she didn't tell Leon.
She is my creation!
William!
I should have killed him while I had the chance. I don't know why, I couldn't do it.
He was your husband.
Honestly, we were more married to our work than each other.
But what about Sherry? How could you just leave her all alone while Raccoon City burned to hell?
I couldn't let my daughter grow up in a world with the G-virus in it.
However, while both Annette and Claire are talking, William gets back up, grabs Annette, and throws her, which seriously injures her. I have no idea how she gets back up, but Claire knows that whatever happens, it needs to happen now, so she sets the button, starting the G3 boss fight into effect. Now, compared to the other G1 and G2 fights, the G3 fight can actually be quite difficult, and it does give Claire a run for her money. However, she does come out victorious, but this fight can be extremely difficult. G is now the main entity you're fighting. You are no longer fighting William Birkin. Beforehand, he had some, sort of human characteristics. The first one was mainly just him with just the mutated arm, and then even G2, where you could see was taking over more of his body. William's, legs and his upper head, were still intact and were there. At this point, Birkin's head is more just kind of in the monster's chest and upper neck area. There is nothing left of him anymore. He has no control over his body. It is purely just G. You are fighting nothing but a monster at this point, meaning it is more vicious and ferocious than anything you fought up to this point. This thing will rip paneling off the wall and it will throw it at you. It can eat round after round. You can set it on fire. You can melt it with acid. You can shoot magnum rounds at it, and it just keeps on coming. This thing is extremely resilient. Now, no matter how resilient G is, if it can bleed, it can die, and that is exactly what happens. You put round after round until it finally dies. At some point during the G3 fight, Annette slips away and makes her way to the med bay where Claire left Sherry so that she can manufacture that cure now that Claire has the antiviral agent. Thankfully, Annette is able to cure Sherry, but her injuries are just too grave. Her fight with William, when William hit her, it was too much, and she does end up passing from her injuries, and it is absolutely heartbreaking to see Sherry's reaction. But to be fair, anybody would have Sherry's reaction because Sherry just saw her own mother die in front of her due to the actions of her father, who is now a monster. But it is especially heartbreaking for Sherry because of just how rough of a night that she has had. She's had to deal with the monsters in the streets while she made her way to the RPD in the lab. Then she had to deal with all the stuff that Chief Irons put her through. Thank God Claire was there when she was and was able to keep an eye on her and keep her protected, but there's nothing that's gonna bring her back from that. That is so traumatic and so scary for a girl her age to go through, that she has to go through. But Claire is able to coax her into being able to leave her mother's side, and that she can get Sherry and herself out of there before Umbrella explodes.
I'm so lucky to have you.
Listen, we can talk more about that later. We gotta hurry now. Come on.
In Annette's final moment, she gave Claire the level 4 admin security upgrade for her wristbands so her and Sherry can take the elevator and get out of Umbrella. Now, while Sherry and Claire were on the elevator, the Umbrella self-destruct sequence had began, and they were just fighting their way through it, but they ended up lucking out, and at the end of their little jaunt through Umbrella, they find a train that can take them out of here. All they have to do is start the train, and they're golden. So that's their plan. Claire gets basically the big battery, plugs in, she gets a minigun along the way, and they start the train, and they are out of here. right before Claire is about to get on the train and cruise out of here, the video feed kicks on, and it's none other than Leon, who Leon and Claire haven't spoken to each other since, I think, at the gate. I mentioned that during Leon's campaign, but their paths just never really seemed to cross, which is weird, because when you think about it, there was times where they were both in the RPD at the same time, just on different wings, and they just never ended up bumping into each other. But regardless, Claire and him try to make plans, but the video feed cuts out before they can, and Leon just tells her to get out of here. Don't worry about Leon, and he'll be fine. So with nothing left to do, Claire gets on the train and they're getting out of here. But if her day couldn't get any worse, Birkin is back. He is so mutated now, he can't even stand, really. He's just like a blob of flesh that just charges. There's nothing left him anymore. His mind is gone. G is slowly breaking down and decaying. But it's just the fact that every time Claire gets a small victory on this guy, he just comes through and messes it all up, and it has to be draining on her at this point. She is trying to keep Sherry safe. She's trying to stay alive. There's a timer of when this building is going to explode, and now she has to deal with him yet again. Claire just barely gets the one up on this guy. I mean, she is in blinking red. Seriously, he was beating my ass during this fight for some reason, but she is able to kill him. It looks like he is finally done for now. The eyes have all popped, and he is just a bloody mess on the floor. Finally, Sherry and Claire just get a moment to relax, and they don't have to worry about anything. They have won. G is stopped. They're on the train heading out of the Nest laboratory. They are safe. In fact, it gets better when Leon makes a surprise appearance on the train. He made it. He jumped on. He was able to get on. And now they are all together. They're finally safe. Nothing could ruin this moment unless...
Jesus.
What was that?
I don't know.
You stay here with Sherry. I'm gonna go check it out.
You've got to be kidding me. This fucker isn't dead yet. He's just a wall of meat and just teeth. There's nothing left. At least in the G4 form, he wasn't super big. He was big, but he wasn't super big. This is just aggravating at this point. He won't stop, and Claire has the exact same reaction because she dumps round after round after round after round, almost gets eaten, but finally she comes out victorious, and she gives out this line right here.
You like that? What, fucker?
You can just tell with the delivery of that line, Claire is so done with fighting this guy. He won't stop. But finally, this was, for real, the killing blow. That stunned him long enough that Claire could get back on the train that wasn't decoupled, and Birkin dies in the explosion of Umbrella. This is the kill shot for him. That is the true ending of Resident Evil 2. William Birkin dies in the explosion of Umbrella, while Leon, Claire, and Sherry walk off into the sunset, finally getting to de-stress after this hellish night they just went through. Now, Resident Evil 2 Remake is an absolutely wonderful game to play through. I have done hundreds of hours. In this video alone, I've played an additional like 10 to 15 to get all the footage and watch all the cutscenes and everything. I could play this game endlessly. And this game, in my eyes, is a masterpiece of survival horror media and just a video game in general, and one of my absolute favorites. But there is no game without any issues. And unfortunately, Resident Evil 2 has a very small slew of issues. It's not a lot. It's really just one main one. And I said I was going to talk about it at the beginning or at some point in the video, and I'm talking about it now after everything is said and done. The main issue with Resident Evil 2 is the B scenarios make absolutely no sense whatsoever. The original Resident Evil 2 had this covered with the zapping system. There were items that if you picked up in the A scenario would not be in the B scenario when you played them. For example, there was a locker in the original with an SMG and an extra side pack that gave you 2 extra inventory spaces. Whichever item you took would not show up in the B scenario. And if you took both of them, the B scenario was screwed. They weren't getting the SMG or the extra side packs. Resident Evil 2 Remake does not handle that so well. Unfortunately, the B scenarios are completely broken. Characters pick up the same key items in the same location. There are characters that should be in different locations. Like, how are Ada and Sherry in the same spot at roughly the same time? How do Leon and Claire never bump into each other at all? That was a thing that happened in the original. There was times where you'd be exploring and you would blatantly bump into the secondary character and have a small cutscene with them. That didn't happen. Again, the biggest issue is picking up key items in the same location. That just doesn't make any sense. That is really my only real issue with that. Other than that, the game is fantastic, and it is a love letter to survival horror fans, and it's just amazing. But I really need to talk about that, though, because that is a glaring issue that a lot of people have with this game, is that the B scenarios make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now we get to talk about the fun extra stuff this game has, because that is something this game is really good at. If you can struggle through the hell, you get rewarded very, very graciously. First off, we have the alternative costumes for Leon and Claire. These are their original outfits brought into the modern era. They dropped a free DLC where you can actually play with the 98 models. I don't really like that because it clashes and it bothers me. With this, you get to play as classic Leon with his OG fit and his OG injured fit, and Claire, you get to play with her classic outfit with her special made in heaven jacket, and then when she loses that, you get the classic tank top as well. It's just awesome to see these outfits from such a classic game brought into the modern era. The last of the special rewards are infinite ammo weapons. Getting an infinite ammo weapon in Resident Evil is one of the best feelings, because you can struggle for hours going through hell, having to worry about inventory management. Do you have enough ammo for this boss fight? Am I gonna make it to the next encounter? How am I gonna deal with this? Do I have enough health? But by beating the game with an S rank on standard, you get an infinite ammo pistol. On hardcore with an S rank, you get an infinite ammo SMG. By completing Leon's campaign with an S plus rank, you get an infinite ammo rocket launcher. And by completing Claire's campaign with an S plus rank, you get an infinite ammo mini gun. These weapons, carnage incarnate. They make every boss a cakewalk, especially the rocket launcher mini gun. The SMG is also really nice, and the pistol is obviously the weakest out of all because it's a pistol, but they're just so wonderful to wield, because now you are the thing that the monsters in this building fear. They fear you. It is no longer a fight for your survival, it's a fight for their survival. What are they going to do against a rocket launch? Last little bit, and then we can finally get to the outro. I just want to talk about how this game looks graphically. After 6 years, this game being a late PS4 and Xbox One game, it holds up amazingly well. Granted, I am playing the PC version for this video. All games I play, unless they're PlayStation exclusives, I usually play on PC for this. But still, regardless, this game holds up wonderfully well. Out of all the remakes, I think it is the most visually stunning to look at. It is... Capcom put their all into this. These character models are so well put together. They're so high quality. It's just everything from the player characters to the AI and the cutscenes, the enemies. It's just amazing. Everything from the 1998 original is brought to the modern era and brought its nightmare fuel with it. The first time I played this game and I saw Licker, I was stunned. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? It has a tongue that is as sharp as a razor blade, and it is sticking to the ceiling. What am I gonna do? Now, again, you play the original and everything was kind of goofy. You play the remake and you're like, oh shit, this is real. And the fact it can give you that sense, and it's a 6-year-old game at this point, proves that graphics have helped this game. This game has aged wonderful. Now, you may be sitting here after watching a video of me ramble for an hour and a half, which is absurd. This is my longest video to date. You'll be wondering, why the hell did I make this? Well, originally, this video was actually supposed to come out on the 6-year anniversary, January 25th. But it took me so long to make this video. I've spent nothing but the last, week, give or take, maybe longer putting together this video. This video was an absolute monster. The file size for it is well over 10 gigs. It's an hour and a half long. It's my longest video today. I've never done something this big of a scale, and I just wanted to show my appreciation for a game that I love. I have sunk well over 300 hours into this game, probably more. It's insane, and this was my first time tackling a game that's really big and doing such an in-depth review on it. My Left 4 Dead video, my Project Zomboid video, the Cyberpunk video, those were all relatively short. Even the Resident Evil 4 video, they all teetered on about 20 minutes, give or take. This is an hour and a half long, maybe longer by the time this outro is done. And I just needed to talk about it. I love the support that I've been getting. You guys are awesome. It means a lot to me. It makes me keep doing this. There were several times where I wanted to scrap this video, but I was like, I just spent a week and a half. I'm not scrapping this video. There's too much put into it now. Just seeing the love and support that you guys give me by liking, commenting, and subscribing means the world to me. I keep doing this because it's fun. I'm nowhere near the monetization goal. I don't care about that. I love the fact that I can yap about video games, and there's people that want to actually sit there and listen to me yap about video games. I want to apologize for any parts of the video that are wrong or are poorly edited. I tried my hardest. I do all this stuff by myself. I had no help. I recorded all the footage myself. I put it all together. I did the voiceover, the music, everything was all me. So if there's some things that are wrong, there's a couple inconsistencies, please forgive me for that. This is like I said, this is my first time doing a video of this scale. So I hope if I continue to do videos this big, they get better with each one. I feel as if I am improving, but if there's any constructive criticism that you wouldn't mind giving me, please drop it in the comments below. I would love to read it, and I try to get back to every comment that I can. And that's really it. I just want to talk about a video game that I really, really like, and I think I did a good job with how in-depth this video is. I was heavily inspired by the channel Fuzzy Slippers, who does really, really good, really long game retrospectives and reviews and stuff, but I think this is where I'm gonna call it. So thank you guys for all the support. We're almost at 100 subs. I plan on doing something like this more often, really big videos, so maybe it'll be less videos that come out at once, and then I get 1 or 2 really big videos done a month. I'll figure it out, but that's gonna be all for now. Bye bye. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.